Honorable Men Discord, Stephen A. Smith talks about the new Lakers lineup. Is it black fatigue? Let's talk about it.
How you see yourself is how you perceived. I see a man strong, gifted, head strapping, never down on his knees, begging. Gotta make a way, even in my darkest hour. Say the odds against me was new, I would never cower.
As always, welcome back to another episode. If you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, tell a friend and tell a friend. I drop episodes daily at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Let's get straight to it. The video beside me is Stephen A. Smith talking about the Lakers. Let's get to it.
The Los Angeles Lakers think they go on with a bunch of white dudes. Your three top players are white dudes? Really? This ain't golf. This ain't baseball. Hell, it ain't even soccer. What y'all think this is? It's basketball. In NBA history, when have you seen your three most prominent players on a basketball team all be white? And that takes you to the promised land. Somebody got to say it, so I'm saying it. This is basketball. I'm not complaining. I'm simply making the point. The Los Angeles Lakers, you ain't going anywhere being led by three white dudes in today's generation of basketball. I'm letting you know right now, it ain't happening. And Luka's a bad brother. And Austin Reeves is no scrub. And they both have earned what they have earned. And then with LeBron James or some other brothers I get. But those two and Walker Kessler, you ain't scaring anybody with that. And Rob Pelinka has done made this white dude central. No wonder LeBron James walked out the door. Where the hell the Los Angeles Lakers think they...
All right. Let me just say, I was actually surprised Stephen A. Smith said this, being someone who is aligned with ESPN. Now, if he was doing his own thing like Shannon Sharpe, where it was just strictly his podcast and he didn't have any other ties to any other company, I wouldn't be as surprised. Because in the podcast world, you have more free room to just speak your mind. Whether or not speaking your mind is actually controversial, or if it comes across as being divisive, you have more breathing room when you're, doing it on your own. When you're doing it on your own, when you're working for yourself. With that being said, Stephen A. said what he said. I was blown away by it because even if it's a thought, to say it and you're aligned with another company, it's crazy. Now, you might say, well, him saying it, period, whether or not he's aligned with a company is crazy also. That may be true. I could respect that take on it. But in all fairness, who speaks about a team and says whether they can be a contender based on their race? No one, especially a professional of his background, of his caliber, no one would make that as the argument. Because let me tell you something right now, and I'm not saying I know how good the team will be. I don't even know the official starting lineup for the Lakers. So at the time of this recording, we're just going off of what Stephen A. Smith is saying. Because by the time the season starts, we don't know who's going to be in the starting lineup. But I guess he's speculating that, it's going to be a predominantly white starting lineup. But who's to say they won't be contenders? Because it would be a slap in his face if they actually become contenders. All right, so I think he jumped the gun on this one. I can't stand with him on this. I think it's crazy that he said it. Again, I'm shocked that he said it. I'm pretty sure a lot of people watching this episode that were unaware of what he said. I'm sure all of you are probably shocked by it as well. But I have some reaction videos to what he had to say, because there's reactions to this. You just had to know. All right. But I also have to play this. He's doubling down from what I saw on his headline. I haven't played this video yet, so this is the first time I'm seeing it. But based on the header, he's not apologizing for what he said. So let's get into it.
People want to get at me because of what I said, and there's this whole brouhaha going on because, racism and racist comes into play because I pointed out about the Lakers being led by three white dudes and how that ain't going to cut it. That ain't going to win you a championship. When's the last time white dudes, three white dudes, a team led by three white dudes won a championship? And obviously there's a lot of people out there saying that I should not have said what I said and they call it racist and all of this other stuff. I don't want to hear that. I'm not backing up one bit. This is about basketball. We're talking basketball. We know that even in the sport of basketball, there have been great white players. There's the Larry Birds, there's the Kevin McHales, there's the Steve Nashes of the world, the Dirk Nowitzkis, the Manu Ginobili's, the John Stockton's, all-time assist and steals leader in NBA history. Okay? We looking at Cooper Flagg right now, who's going to be a superstar in this league, Con Knipple in Charlotte. We've seen great white players throughout. What I said, and I'm going to reiterate this again, is when have we seen a team with 3 of its top players who happen to be white delivering a championship? Can we talk basketball? Because that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking basketball. We see great quarterbacks in the National Football League. We've seen the Tom Brady's and the Peyton Mannings and the Aaron Rodgers, the Dan Marinos, the Terry Bradshaws, the Fran Tarkentons of the world, the Dan Fouts of the world. We've seen Roger Staubach and others. We've seen John Elway. Let me not forget him. We've seen it. We've seen it in tennis. We've seen it in golf. We've seen it in every sport. But I'm talking about basketball in terms of 3 dudes who happen to be white leading you to a franchise. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm still waiting. You know why I started off this hit laughing right now? Because one of my boys sat up there and challenged me on it. And he said, man, people got a point. They ain't got a point about the racism and all. Forget all of that. But just purely basketball, it's happened before. I said, when did it happen? When did it happen? You know what he said to me? Brace yourself. The Minneapolis Lakers. That's what he said, the Minneapolis Lakers. Ladies and gentlemen, the Minneapolis Lakers won about 5 titles. I think they won it from like 1949 to like 1955. They moved to Los Angeles in 1960. That's what he brought up. I'm sorry I didn't go back to 1949 to 1955. My bad. I'm sorry about that, okay? That's not what I'm saying. Ladies and gentlemen, do you know that Jerry West is the logo? The logo. But yeah, Will Chamberlain. Had Elgin Baylor. You want to bring Larry Bird? Larry Bird and McHale. I saw this article on Fox News. I ain't going to even mention the author's name. He's pathetic. I'm not talking about him. I'm saying to you, overall, what are we talking about here? You brought up McHale and Bird. Bird is the greatest. One of the greatest players ever, 3-time champion, 3-time league MVP, 2-time NBA Finals MVP. That is a bad brother. He's on another level. So is Dirk. So is Nash. So is Stockton. So is Jerry West. So is all of these guys. But I'm talking about the compilation of folks being on the same team. Fox News brought up Danny Ainge. Danny Ainge wasn't a top 3 player on Boston. Danny Ainge was damn good. Dennis Johnson was on that team. Robert Parrish was on that team. Talk about Danny Ainge. When we bring up the Knicks and we talk about Bradley and DeBusschere and Jerry Lucas, wasn't Walt Clyde Frazier on that team? Wasn't Willis Reed on one of those teams? Wasn't Black Jesus Earl of Pearl Monroe on the championship team for the Knicks? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? We go to the list on and on and on. From the 60s through the 70s, Bob Cousy, let me not forget him. One of the greatest point guards in NBA history. Led the league in assists like 8 times. One of the greatest point guards to have ever lived. You want to go back to those days? That's fine. I'm telling you, right now, they still have Bill Russell. I'm simply making the point that when you talk about the NBA game, look at history. Can we talk basketball?
What's your thoughts on what he's saying? Now, he is talking sports. I know, regardless of the fact, there's going to be some of you watching this saying, well, that was a racist take. But he's talking sports. Again, he acknowledged the great white athletes of the past. But he's talking sports, and he's backing it up with his facts on there's never been a starting lineup that's been successful, that's been all white. What's your thoughts on it? All right, what's your thoughts? This is about dialogue. Let's talk about this. What's your thoughts on this?
LA fan, tell me about what you think what Stephen A just said, bro. Listen to what he just said.
Just gotta say it, yo. Where the Los Angeles Lakers think they going with a bunch of white dudes? Somebody had to say it, so I'm saying it. Your 3 top players are white dudes? Really? This ain't golf. This ain't baseball. It ain't even soccer. And we got a whole bunch of brothers on Team USA. What y'all think this is? It's basketball.
I don't know, man. What y'all thinking about what he's saying? Honestly, I don't believe that the gift is tied to a certain ethnicity. I believe that these guys can take it all the way if they want to. Just how God gave LeBron the gift, everybody else has a gift as well. Now, they may not be as elite as LeBron, but you get what I'm trying to say. I don't know, man. Tell me what you think in the comments. Man, if you're an LA fan.
I agree with him, and I'm going to say why. it really comes down to the heart, the knowledge of the game, the heart. You might say they may not be as athletic as some of the premier black basketball players throughout the league, but it comes down to heart. Do you have the heart? Do you have the heart? Do you have the grit? You know, like, this is why I think that was bad that he said it. It may actually be good for the Lakers because now they should use that as motivation. That would be something if I'm the coach. Every time we get in the locker room every night, I'm gonna play that clip. I'm gonna say there's nothing more for me to say. Play the clip. Go out there and prove them wrong, and use that. Let this debut season with the new faces that's on the team. Let that debut season speak for itself. All right. It's a game of basketball. You have to win on the floor. It's no different than any other sport, to be honest with you. You know, I know NHL is a predominantly white sport, but I wouldn't assume that if there was a NHL team that had a whole bunch of black players on it, that they wouldn't be successful. It really comes at the end of the day. You have to play game by game, each game, and if you have the heart, if you have the skill, anything is possible. So I would never have made a claim like that. You know, Stephen A. You know, he says a lot of outlandish things. You know, I cover him a lot on this channel from time to time. But this one, I'm sorry, Stephen, but you're standing alone on this one. I can't stand with you on this one.
You don't have the luxury of crying out racism and then simultaneously spewing a racist remark. We just don't have that luxury. So with that being said, contrary to Stephen A's belief that somebody got to say it, nobody had to say it. Stephen A, you don't have the luxury of crying out racism and then simultaneously spewing.
Oh, he's playing it over again.
Call me Derek Demure, spinning the block media, and I had to spin the block on Stephen A. Smith receiving backlash for his recent comments about the Lakers' Big Three. All right, now let's contextualize his comments. Stephen A. know damn well if this was said by a white commentator on black players, this would definitely be a racial issue. Yeah, you could say it was commentary, you could say it was basketball analysis, but you can't just leave it there. This was clearly racial bias, in my opinion. Why? Because you can't say a team can't win a championship with 3 white players being the centerpiece of that organization. I just don't believe that. You know, and I think there's a bunch of other people out there that don't believe that. But no lie, I can see Stephen A. running for office because he sounds just like a politician, trying to justify his comments. Yeah, it's about basketball, but you also made it about race. When you name golf, which is a predominantly white sport, you made it about race. When you said they can't win a championship with 3 white dudes as your main players, you made it about race. Saying if you don't have one black player as a key element on your team makes it about race, not just about basketball. But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Did this come off as racist to you? Because even if we don't like to admit it, there is a such thing as black people being racist. Now, we might not be racist for the same reason or in the same fashion as others. Like, we don't hate other races just because of their color, you know, the color of their skin. But we often, me speaking as a black person, you know, we often don't like them due to history. It's the big homie, Derek Demure.
Listen, just to keep in line with the thumbnail, do you think the Laker organization intentionally did this as a form of black fatigue? I'm just throwing that out there. Either yes or no. Or do you just think by chance they did this because this is the best talent they have? First of all, let's be clear. Of course, Luka and Austin Reeves were already on the team, so it's not like the Lakers placed them there. This is why Steven's saying this is a little outlandish. And the reason for me using the black fatigue in my thumbnail is because I believe I came across somewhere where he said, if not Stephen A., someone had mentioned that they think that the Lakers were intentionally, quietly but yet publicly moving away from having to deal with African American players. Now, I'm not saying that's true. I'm not saying that's true, but it's just something to question. Now, regardless of the fact if that is the case, what I will say about what Stephen A. Smith had to say was it's not justified. Again, the game of basketball, you have to play each game. You can't assume that just because it's an all-black team, all-white team, that the all-white team's going to lose. You just can't assume that. That's not the way the game is played. That's not how any sport is played. Not even on hand-to-hand combat, UFC, if it's when it's one-on-one, boxing. You can't just assume, that that one is superior than the other. Now, yes, in basketball, the history of it, like he said, has shown that, the teams that go on to win have been mixed teams or predominantly black teams and so on and so forth. But you just can't assume that an all-white team won't be contenders. You can't say that. Now, if he's speaking about just winning a championship, we can't even say that either because, we haven't seen it. The track record hasn't been there, but you just can't say that. It comes down to heart. You still have to play the game. And if you sleep on the team because you feel like, oh, they're all white team, we got it, you could possibly end up losing because you're going into the game with the wrong mindset. You still have to play the game. You still have to put the ball on the court. You still got to put the ball through the hoop. So, I don't know.
Los Angeles Lakers think they going with a bunch of white dudes. Your 3 top players are white dudes? Really? This ain't golf?
So Stephen A. shot this video, looked at it, and said, yeah, that's a good idea. Let me upload it. I thought this was I literally thought this was AI. I went in the comments, I was like, this has got to be AI. Or he might have gotten hacked. I'm used to really bad takes by Stephen A. This is the same guy that said Shohei Ohtani would not have any cultural relevance in the U.S. because he uses an interpreter, right? So I'm used to him saying bad things. He picks fights with athletes. He's not even a journalist anymore. But it's just a bad take. It's not even true in the sense that plenty of teams with white players have won. And with all the kind of race stuff that we endure in this country, what a dumb thing to say. Not that I expected him to say anything good ever. This is just a terrible take and not good.
Where the hell the Los Angeles Lakers think?
Listen, what's your thoughts on it? My thoughts on this, as I said countless times throughout this episode, is that Stephen A. Smith is on an island of his own at this time because I don't think anyone is going to agree with him making that public statement about the Lakers organization. Now, again, staying in line with my thumbnail, has the Laker organization come to a point where they are exhausted with dealing with certain African American players? Is that a possibility? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I haven't seen a Laker team like this ever to my memory. Now, I never followed the Lakers like that. I followed them when LeBron was on the team. I didn't follow them when Kobe was on the team. But you tell me, do you think this is possibly black fatigue by the Lakers organization? What's your thoughts on all of this? I think he just motivated the Lakers. That's what I think. He definitely motivated the administration also to encourage their players to go out there and do their best. This should be a motivational moment for the Lakers. That's my thoughts on all this. I think Stephen A. shouldn't have said that, and I wouldn't be surprised if I might have to come back and do another episode because he may have lost his ties to ESPN. Maybe. It's still left to be seen. I see when he did his own personal show, I saw that I think it was Sirius. Who is he tied to? Let me see what he was tied to.
People want to get at me because of what I said.
Sirius XM. Maybe he's going to jeopardize his ties with Sirius XM. It's still left to be seen. I know we live in a country, freedom of speech. At least that's what it says on paper. Although there's been plenty of times where when you use your freedom of speech, it comes back to bite you. Now, we'll see what happens when you exercise. That's the word I was looking for. We live in a country where we have freedom of speech, yes, but when you exercise it at times, for some reason, it comes back to haunt you. All right, so let's see what happens with Stephen A. Smith. That's all I have on this. What is your thoughts? I'd love to hear from you all in the comment section. As always, I appreciate everyone for tuning in. If you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Tell a friend and tell a friend. I drop episodes daily at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And as always, stay honorable.